Okay, let me try it again. The following is the 673rd regular Arizona Racing Commission meeting held on September 12, 2019 at 1110 West Washington, Suite 250, Phoenix, Arizona 85007. The time is, I gotta put you on then because mine said, okay, you're on, go, thank you.
I'd like to call to order the 673rd regular Arizona Racing Commission meeting, September 12, 2019. Cassie, would you like to call the roll?
Yes, please. Commissioner Coolidge?
Here.
On the telephone, Commissioner Garay?
Present.
On the telephone, Commissioner Lawless?
Here by telephone.
Thank you. And Commissioner McClintock?
Oh, I'm here.
And present. Okay, we have a quorum, and if you wouldn't mind, as a public service, please silence or turn off all cell phones. If you must take a call, please be courteous to those around you and take the conversation out into the hall. Thank you. It's all yours, sir.
All right, agenda item B1 is executive session. If anybody wants to be brought up to date on the Sims versus Sims case, I would entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So moved for item 1, Sims versus Sims.
It's Mr. Garay.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Lawless. Thank you. So,
All right.
Mr. Garay,
Here.
Commissioner Lawless,
Here.
Commissioner McClintock,
Yes.
Commissioner Coolidge.
Here.
Okay, it has been voted second and carries at 10:01. We are recessing the first open session to go into executive session. So I need everybody to, sorry about this, please clear the room and take any cups, papers, folders, water bottles, anything that you brought in with you, please take them out with you. Thank you. Following is the second open session of the 673rd regular Arizona Racing Commission meeting held September 12, 2019 at 1110 West Washington, Suite 250, Phoenix, Arizona 85007. The time is. To get everybody's attention, please.
All right, I'd like to call the meeting back to orders and make sure we have a quorum so we can go into another executive session.
Okay, the time is 10:12 and we are now entering the second open session. And I would like to take the roll call of Commissioner Coolidge,
Here.
Commissioner Garay,
Here.
Commissioner Lawless,
Here.
Commissioner McClintock.
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
Okay, item B2, Monarch Content Management et al. Versus the Arizona Department of Gaming. We can vote to go into executive session in order to discuss with and instruct our attorneys on this matter. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Garay, I move.
Okay, Commissioner Garay made the motion. Who do I have for second, please?
Coolidge.
Thank you. And Commissioner Coolidge for the vote. Thank you. Commissioner McClintock,
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless,
Yeah.
Commissioner Garay.
Yes.
Thank you. This is we're going to recess the second open session. It is 10:13 a.m. And so if everybody, again, I apologize, please clear the room, take everything out with you, all water bottles, all coffee, any briefcases, jackets.
We're getting our exercise today, girl.
Following is the third open session of the 673rd regular Arizona Racing Commission meeting held September 12, 2019 at 1110 West Washington, Suite 250, Phoenix, Arizona 85007. And the time is, you ready?
I'd like to recall to order the 673rd regular Arizona Racing Commission meeting. Make sure we have a quorum.
Thank you. The time is 10:27. Commissioner Coolidge,
Here.
Commissioner Garay,
Here.
Commissioner Lawless,
Here.
Commissioner McClintock.
Here.
Thank you. We have our quorum back, and again, as a reminder, please silence or turn off your cell phones. If you need to take a call, please take it out into the hallway so as not to disturb the meeting. Thank you.
Okay, action item C1, executive, no. Take that. Turf Paradise requests approval of the following off-track betting facility the Copper Still Moonshine Grill located at 7450 West Chandler Boulevard in Chandler, Arizona. Greg?
Yes, last month Turf Paradise requested this new off-track betting facility. They turned in the packet. Everything is in order. I've checked. Both the owners and the LTB management and staff are licensed, so it is good to go. We would recommend approval.
Any discussion?
Only question on my end is, do we have any idea how close this is to any other OTB in the area?
Dave Johnson, can you answer that? How close is this to another OTB? Oh, you need to sign the sign-in sheet. Please.
Thank you. See one thing.
Dave Johnson, Assistant General Manager, Turf Paradise. The answer to the question is, it is approximately 2 miles from Bleachers Sports Grill, which is in Ahwatukee, but it sits on the other side of the freeway and kind of out of sight, out of mind. We looked at the location. It's always been an area in which we have heavily recruited in the past, because there used to be one of the top locations in the industry was a place called the Stadium Club, which was actually right down the street from there. So when we found this location and approached them, and they were open to having the off-track betting, we moved forward.
Sounds good. Any other questions? Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion to approve the Copper State Moonshine Grill, Copper Still Moonshine Grill?
So moved.
That'd be
Second.
Mr. Lawless, Mr. Garay second. So Commissioner Coolidge,
Yeah.
Commissioner Garay,
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless,
Yeah.
Commissioner McClintock.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries to approve Copper Still Moonshine Grill in Chandler as an OTB for Turf Paradise.
All right, action item C2 is a notice of appeal to Arizona Racing Commission of Directors June 25th, 2019 ruling deeming Ronald A. Sims license application to be incomplete, filed on July 24th, 2019 by Ronald A. Sims. On August 5th, 2019, the parties filed a joint stipulation to stay consideration of Ronald A. Sims' notice of appeal to the Arizona Racing Commission of Directors June 25th, 2019 ruling deeming Ronald A. Sims license application to be incomplete, requesting the commission to stay the matter until at least up through and including the resolution of the Court of Appeals proceeding, and if applicable, to any subsequent proceedings arising therefrom from the Arizona Supreme Court. The commission may vote to go into executive session under ARS whatever in order to discuss or consult for legal advice with its attorneys.
I did have a question on this one, and I thought we had done this a couple of months ago, a few months back.
We did the 2017 application. This is the 2019 application, and counsel for Ron Sims, Nathan Novak, has approached the podium, and I have...
Nathan, you're going to have to sign in, please.
Oh, sure.
Oh, it has, yes, so he could answer questions as well, and also counsel for the Department of Gaming is also in attendance.
Yeah, this is Nathan Novak for the commissioners on the phone who can't see me. I'm only here if there are questions to be answered. I think your counsel, Ms. Alarcon, just answered the question correctly with regard to the time period. The previous vote was for the 2017 application. The stipulation before you today is for the 2019 application. The stipulation and the requested order are identical in substance before you today with respect to 2019 as what you four voted aye on in 2017.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So I guess the question is, do we need an executive session? Having said that, someone would need to make a motion if we're going to go into executive session.
Well, I know was just mentioned we had done this before, so this is again, I think, just a standard kind of get this in place so that they can continue on with their legal battles, and we don't have to hear the appeal while all that's going on.
I agree. So do we need a motion to uphold the ruling, I guess?
Or just,
You might want to move to grant the stay. That's what the parties are requesting,
That is their request. Their
I
request
move that
to-
we grant the stay.
as stipulated by the parties.
Thank you. I have a motion to grant the stay made by Commissioner Garay. Commissioner Lawless is seconded, so I'm going to do the roll call on this. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yeah.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless?
Yeah.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries. The stay is granted.
Okay, action item 3, approval of September 2019 simulcast horse racing import signals, and I see that Tom Author has signed up to speak.
Tom Author from Arizona Downs, directors, commissioners, everybody else. I just wanted to, we're kind of in the dark as to what's going on, and I don't want to rehash old history, but I'm gonna. You may recall that at one point, we came to the commission to invoke a rule that is essentially what HB 2547 accomplished, and we were told, no, you go to legislature. We then had a letter to send to the governor that the director decided he was not going to send to the governor. The horsemen cut the signal, and that was not enforced. We then got the legislature to pass this bill by 2/3 majority, I'll add, and as an aside, it wouldn't even have been that close had Turf Paradise not said they were going to close their track if the bill passed, which is an action they ultimately did not take. And you can confirm that on the website. And after that passed, we still don't have any enforcement. And right or wrong, we're just curious, is there a plan to enforce this, or is there something that's going to go into play? It's the 17th day of Monarch Content Management. Absolutely being dismissive of our legislature's work, of the people's voice, and we're just wondering what the plan is.
I'd move that we go to executive session. So we can understand what's happening.
Sorry, you guys.
I'm sorry, do I have a second on that?
I second that. Sorry, I was on mute.
Okay, so I have Commissioner Coolidge making the motion to go into executive session, Chair Garay seconding it, so I will do the roll call. Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless?
Yeah.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Commissioner Coolidge? Thank you. Okay, it is 10:36 and we are adjourned for the third executive session to this meeting. Following is the fourth open session of the 673rd Regular Arizona Racing Commission meeting held September 12, 2019 at 1110 West Washington, Suite 250, Phoenix, Arizona 85007, and the time is...
All right. We're going to reopen the meeting, the 673rd Regular Arizona Racing Commission meeting, and we need to take a roll.
Thank you. The time is 11:11, and for quorum purposes, Commissioner Coolidge,
Here.
Commissioner Garay,
Present.
Commissioner Lawless,
Here.
Commissioner McClintock.
Here.
Thank you, and as a reminder, please silence or turn off all your cell phones. If you need to take a call, please take it in the halls to not disturb the meeting. Thank you very much, sir. It's your meeting.
Okay, action item 3 is the approval of September 2019 simulcast horse racing import signals. And we're going to take these.
Mr.
Yes.
Chair, Commissioner Garay, I have a feeling these items here are with regards to HB 2547. And I do have some concerns right now that we're supposed to be, I guess, reviewing these to ensure they're complete contracts. And I mean, up until the other night, I had never seen one of these before. So I don't even know what a complete contract for the signals is going to look like. And normally we would also get some recommendation from the department as if they've looked at it and given us a recommendation that this is complete. So if anyone can correct me if I'm wrong on this, or...
No, that's my understanding too.
Right.
So Commissioner Gore, this is Director Vogt for the department. And this kind of goes back to the question that was asked before it went into executive session. The law went into effect on, HB 2547 went into effect on August 27th. On August 28th, all the permittees should have received a letter from Director Casillas requesting that they submit their contracts, their simulcast contracts to the department. We have received some. I don't believe we've received all. Director Casillas, you can refer to that.
Yes, we sent the letter out to the permittees requesting copies of their OTB simulcast contract agreements. We have received some, however, some of them that were submitted were incomplete. Turf Paradise sent cover pages and last pages, but nothing in between. We are trying to move forward to get the commission all the relevant information so that they can make approvals or disapprove based on the findings on the contract agreements. So the department is being proactive with this new law, trying to follow its processes. So at this point, we have received partial information. However, we kind of recommend to the commission that they conditionally approve the existing contract agreements as they are, so that the permittees can continue to get revenue and the wagering public is protected. And we will continue to, if the commission directs us, to continue to reach out to the permittees to get all relevant information so that we can provide them all details so they can make a sound decision going forward.
Rudy, can I ask that you continue to do that, or the department continue to do that, as well as, I think a contract submission completion review and the department's findings is something that we need to request from the department as well.
Yes, sir, we will do that.
So by the next meeting, you would have this all in place for the, let's just say example, Arizona down, Belmont Park fall meet. You'll be able to then, by the next meeting, tell us that you have the full contract and has been reviewed?
I believe the permittees will fully cooperate to get this accomplished, yes.
Right. And by the next meeting, would the department also maybe be able to provide us with some guidance or how I guess we would need to request rule writing from the governor to implement some rules as how the administrative process on this whole thing is going to take place.
I believe that we can provide some guidance. We'll have discussions with the Attorney General's office, and if we need to get the rules in place on it, I'm not quite 100% certain that's a requirement to get this accomplished, but we will look into that.
Commissioner Gore, Commissioners, this is Director Vogt again. We'll certainly provide not only the completeness review, but some sort of information from which you will be able to make your determination of whether or not the contracts are reasonable. So
okay.
We'll give you some information around that as well.
And since this is the first time we're coming up against this type of a vote, do we have to make a motion for each one for example, Arizona Downs Belmont Park fall meet and then the Churchill Downs fall meet? Or can we make a motion for A, 1 through 5, B, 1 through 4?
It has to be for each signal provider.
Okay.
Okay. Who wants to start?
I'm trying to formulate in my head.
It's just like playing Battleship.
Yeah. Let me give an attempt, and you guys can then just reject me if you don't like it. I move to conditionally approve the number 1 Belmont Park fall meet for till the next meeting, providing that the department gets us some guidance on the review and also documentation on the process.
It's good. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Okay, the motion, as I understand, is that I'm sorry, I'm being asked to hold up.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Mr.
It sounds
Casillas?
like the motion was to approve Belmont Park entirely for all permittees. It's got to be done per permittee,
Okay,
per
this is
provider.
item 3A1
Yes.
for Arizona Downs.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot to say item A1
Okay.
on my motion.
But which permittee, because they're listed for both Turf Paradise and for Arizona
And-
Downs.
Well, A1
It was
is
A1.
Arizona Downs.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So, taking the roll call again, Mr. Lawless, I believe that you will agree with that amendment to the motion then, to specify?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, Commissioner Coolidge?
Yeah.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Can we say the same motion for A2, just to simplify things?
Okay.
You need to insert the track name and the permittee, though, that it goes with, because they're not all the same.
A2.
I should have written.
All right.
So I move for item A2, Churchill Downs Fall Meet, and that was for Arizona Downs, same motion as for A1, the Belmont Park Fall Meet, conditional approval till the next meeting, providing the department get us the documentation on the full review and on documentation on administrative process.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Lawless seconds, so the roll call, Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you, motion carries.
You'll make me do this again. aren't you?
Yes, sir, we're going to have it all the
You
way.
did such a good job.
Yeah, you started it. All right, this is for item A, Arizona Downs, A4, or no.
3.
A3.
Yeah, A3, Kentucky Downs, conditional approval till the next commission meeting, provided the department gets us the documentation on the full review and also documentation on administrative process.
Second.
Sorry, was that Commissioner Coolidge that seconded?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right, thanks for the clarification. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yeah.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. So number 4, you want it to be Laurel Park with Arizona Downs?
Yes, it's for A4, Arizona Downs, Laurel Park Fall Meet. I move to conditional approval till the next commission meeting, providing the department get us documentation on the review and also administrative process.
Second.
Okay, thank you. That was Mr. Lawless. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. And so we'll keep going with it and say number 5 on Los Angeles County Fair at Los Alamitos for Arizona Downs.
Yes, for item A5, Los Angeles County Fair at Los Alamitos, I move to conditionally approve to the next commission meeting, right? The department get us, all right now I'm having a brain fart. Get us a, yeah, I just had a brain fart. Documentation on the review and also documentation on the administrative process.
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, looking at going over for the next one, we'll just say C3B1 for Turf Paradise for Belmont Park Ball Meet.
Move to conditionally approve B1 for the next commission meeting, providing the department get us the review on full completeness and also documentation on administrative process.
Second.
Okay, that would be Commissioner Lawless. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Motion carries. Continuing on, we'll look at Kentucky Downs for Turf Paradise as C3B2.
For item B2, Kentucky Downs, I make a motion that we conditionally approve this till the next commission meeting, providing the department get us documentation on the review, completeness, and also documentation on administrative process.
Second.
Thank you. That was Mr. Lawless. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Continuing on and calling Laurel Park for Turf Paradise is C3B3.
Move that we conditionally approve for B3 Laurel Park Ball Meet until the next commission meeting, providing the department get us documentation on the review for completeness of the contract and also documentation on administrative process.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Lawless. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. And C3B4 for Turf Paradise, Los Angeles County Fair at Los Alamitos.
As for item B4, Los Angeles County Fair at Los Alamitos, I move that we conditionally approve this till the next commission meeting, providing the department get us documentation on the review for completeness of the contract and also documentation on the administrative process.
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. And we are done with C3.
Okay, action item C4 looks to be the same. I guess my question, Rudy, is do we not have these contracts completed or why?
Yes, in the case of Turf Paradise, yesterday afternoon I received Will Rogers Downs and Churchill Downs. In the case of Lone Star Park, Zia, Santa Anita, and Evangeline, I do not have the packets.
Okay, so we can do the same thing for these items, assuming the information will be submitted and reviewed and deemed complete. So Rory, back to your motion. You're doing such a great job.
I'm sorry, I'm going to interject. Let's do for Arizona Downs Santa Anita Fall Meet that begins September 27th as C4A1.
Correct. And this would be for A1 Arizona Downs Santa Anita Fall Meet, which begins 9/27/2019. I move that we conditionally approve this to the next commission meeting, providing the department can provide a review that the contract is complete and also documentation on the administrative process.
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. And moving in tradition, C3B1 for Turf Paradise, Will Rogers Downs Quarter Horse.
This is for B1 Will Rogers Downs Quarter Horse, which begins 09/07/2019. I move that we conditionally approve this till the next commission meeting, providing the department can provide documentation that the contract is complete and also documentation on the administrative process.
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. C4B2 as Turf Paradise Churchill Downs Fall Meet.
This is for B2 Churchill Downs Fall Meet, which begins 09/13/2019. I move that we conditionally approve this to the next commission meeting, providing the department can provide documentation that the contract is complete and also documentation on the administrative process.
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Okay. C4B3 as Turf Paradise Lone Star Park Quarter Horse Meet.
And this is for B3 Lone Star Park Quarter Horse Meet, which begins 09/20/2019. I move that we approve this to the next, or conditionally approve this to the next commission meeting, providing the department can provide documentation that the contract is complete and documentation. Excuse me, you can remove that from the motion. Administrative documentation.
Thank you, Commissioner Lawless. Second. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Lawless? Commissioner Lawless?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Hang in there, Rory, we need you to complete this for us.
Okay, on C4B4, Turf Paradise Zia Park begins September 21st, 2019.
This is for B4 Zia Park, which begins 09/21/2019. I move to conditionally approve this to the next commission meeting, provided the department can provide documentation that the contract is complete and also documentation on the administrative process.
Second.
Thank you. So, Mr. Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. And I believe, bear with me, let me flip my page. C4B5, Turf Paradise Santa Anita Park Fall Meet.
This motion is for B5 Santa Anita Park Fall Meet, which begins 09/27/2019. I move we conditionally approve this to the next commission meeting, provided the department can provide documentation that the contract is complete and also documentation on the administrative process.
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. And C4B6 for Turf Paradise Evangeline Downs.
This motion is for B6 Evangeline Downs, which begins 09/27/2019. I move that we conditionally approve this to the next commission meeting, providing the department can provide documentation that the contract is complete and also documentation for the administrative process.
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. That motion carries.
All right. Now we're at item D, the information reports. Leroy?
Mr. Chair, before we get there, I was going to see if it's okay if I need to start heading to the airport so I can fly back to Arizona.
Come on home, Roy. You did such a good job. You're excused.
Thank you.
You bet.
Okay, let the record reflect that 11:31, Commissioner Gore recused himself and is out of the meeting completely.
All right, and Mr. Gessman would like to address the commission.
Commissioners, Director, and staff, Leroy Gessman, Arizona HPPA. I just want to confirm this new process still requires the approval from HPPA on these signals.
I assume nothing's changed in that regard.
Okay, and then since you're getting a copy of the complete contract, we're supposed to be getting a copy of the complete contract, and we don't always get them, so I wanted to just be assured we would get those before we do our approval.
Okay, would you be sure the HPPA?
Yes, we'll share information with the HPPA.
And then one other question, am I understanding this correctly, that if new tracks that would start up in November, we would want to approve those in the October meeting?
Well, we'd like to get everything approved well beforehand. And with this new law, the department intends to inform the permittees that there's going to be changes and they're going to have to submit contracts on a more timely basis so that we can get this done. With this new law, the department intends to inform the permittees that they will have to submit information to us on a more timely basis so that we can get everything in order before these actual race meets begin.
Okay. Well, we will get our consents out as quick as we get the request, so it doesn't slow the process down. Thank you.
Thanks, Leroy. All right, item D1, safety report. Greg?
I'll begin.
1 second, please. Dave Johnson.
I'm sorry. I just did Dave Johnson,
He's already signed in.
Assistant General Manager, Turk Paradise. What I have is
Sign in again.
C4.
C4. Thank you. I did just want to bring up something that to point on what Mr. Gessman was just talking about. In the administrative code, it does say in the simulcast rules that an initial contract with a racetrack requires the HPPA's approval. However, under renewals, it doesn't state that that is required. It does state that you need to have a signature page and possibly it may be requested at the department's request, a list of the OTVs and so forth. But in that administrative code, it only specifies that it's required for an initial track. So almost all the tracks that we have are all renewals. Last month, I think Colonial Downs started up. That was a new track, but and obviously we requested it from the HPPA, but almost all of our other simulcast contracts are renewals. And I've spoken with the department about this just briefly in one of our executive sessions, and I know it's going to be looked at. So.
Okay, thanks, Dave. But it'd be nice as a courtesy to share that information with the
Absolutely.
Okay, Lloyd?
Lloyd Yother, HPPA.
You're going to have to sign the signage.
Oh,
you can do it after.
Do I have to do it before I speak?
No, just make sure you sign it.
I disagree with the interpretation of that. I mean, things change. The initial approval goes to infinity. I mean, I don't understand that. I mean, things change with tracks, and we may not agree to them. So I think I disagree with that. Whatever the statute is, it says that it's only on initial approvals. I mean, if it can't be done on the renewals, why have the renewals? So That's what I don't understand.
I'm hoping Turf Paradise will share that information with you guys and that there won't be a problem.
Well, you know, it's getting harder and harder to get information back. I mean, we would like to work with track and track management. They don't seem to be willing to work with us very much anymore. We get all of their new OTBs. We get nothing on closings. That's a very important part of what goes on with OTBs. I mean, you can open 3 this year or 5 this year and close 12 this year. We need to know that information. It needs to be public information, and I'm requesting that the department direct the management to give us this information and try to cooperate with us in our combined efforts to run races. So thank you.
Okay.
Regarding Mr. Yother's comments, with the new law in place, all contracts must be submitted, and we are further researching whether the rule regarding initial contract approval by HBPA is necessary for renewals. That is being looked into, and we will inform the commission of that matter as we get that remedied, and we have an answer for you on that.
Okay.
And as far as sharing information regarding all OTBs and what have you, that will be shared with the HBPA also.
Good. All right. Good. Mr. Alston.
Buzz Alston, Turf Paradise. There's currently about 6 issues that exist in the relationship between the HBPA and Turf. These issues are set for a binding arbitration on October 3rd, next October 3rd. And I am confident that that these 6 issues will be resolved. I'm working with Mike Napier, the HBPA's attorney, about making sure that we've got all the issues we need. One of the issues is this issue of the renewal. The Federal Horse Racing Act and the administrative provisions that David just referred to. And so I can assure you that I will, and Mr. Napier will, and the arbitrators, there are 3 arbitrators, the arbitrators will see to it that the HBPA understands how this works, how these renewals work. In a nutshell, what the Federal Arbitration Act and the Administrative Procedure says is that once you enter a contract, when the contract terminates, the consents terminate, and you have to get new consents. But as long as the contract is in place, you don't need the consent for renewals, as long as you're under a contract. And that's what we'll go over that at the arbitration. I'm sure that everybody will understand that better.
Good. Thanks, Buzz. Hopefully by the next commission meeting, everybody will be happy.
I think by the next commission meeting, a lot of what we've been talking about will be resolved, and we understand are sensitive to the HBPA's concerns in this regard, and they have every right to know what's going on and how it works.
Yeah, good. Thank you. All right, Greg, I know you've probably forgotten. Give us a safety.
This is the September safety report. I'll begin the report with a wrap-up of the Arizona Downs summer meet. During the course of the summer, staff worked well with Arizona Downs management on safety issues that were of concern. Arizona Downs General Manager Ann McGovern was very active in responses to issues. In many instances, was proactive in monitoring issues on the backside of Arizona Downs. The backside of the Prescott track is vastly different from the backside of other tracks here in Arizona. In respect to there's no asphalt back there, so potholes are not an issue. The Arizona Downs meet finished with 3 race-related fatalities, 2 thoroughbred, 1 quarter horse. Their catastrophic injury rate was 1.71 per 1,000 starts. That is compared to the National Jockey Club national average in 2018 of 1.68 per 1,000 starts. So they were pretty close to the national average. There was 1 morning training fatality and 2 other fatalities that were classified as others, which were the result of unpreventable accidents. Necropsy reviews on the afternoon race-related incidents will be conducted in the weeks ahead. I'll move on to Turf Paradise. Horses returned to turf this week. Staff is beginning to walk through the backside and will point out areas of safety concerns to Turf Paradise management. They'll speak with licensees, barns, and they'll get their recommendations at that time. In April of this year, the commission asked for the department to do a pre-meet inspection and report back to the commission on its findings. An initial pre-meet inspection was done last week. I walked the backside area and found the following items. Most of the restrooms have been painted and repairs have been done. Most barn exteriors have been painted. Most interiors of the barn have not been painted, but I want to point out that typically that is the case in seasons past. The exteriors are painted, but the interiors are not. We are unable to access any repairs that have been on barn roofs due to the fact that we haven't had rains and we haven't actually stepped on top of the barn roofs to take a look. We did receive one complaint on a specific barn in the L row that could have been damaged by high winds during the summer storms. Staff went out this week to assess the condition and determined it was a concern. We brought it to Turf Paradise's attention, and Turf Management has indicated that the barn was going to be torn down for safety reasons. The training track was a major issue with the permit renewal that has been modified, and the inside rail is consistent in height. On the days we were out there, we saw crews patching the asphalt roads in K row, and it appears that patchwork has been done on B, C, and D rows. Concerning the bridle path has been cut on the north side of L row and extends the 6 furlong gap. It is a dirt path at this moment. From the 6 furlong gap to the entrance of the track near the test barn is still asphalt. It appears the dirt path will allow ample room for horses to move to and from the track. A more comprehensive inspection to include any fire extinguisher expiration dates, electrical or barn issues, inspection of starting gates, track rails, track surface, backside lighting will be done before the meet starts, and a full report will be furnished to the commission before the next meeting in October.
Thanks, Greg. Jason LaForest, are you here? Good.
Commissioners, Jason LaForest from the department. I have one item regarding the budget I'd like to make you aware of. Earlier this month, we formally submitted our FY21 budget request to the legislative and the governor's office. In this request, there is an item that affects the Division of Racing. For FY21, we are asking for an additional spending authority to hire an additional safety vet and veterinary assistant so we can continue this push with safety of both human and equine athletes. This is quite early in the budget process, but as I hear more information, I will come back and give you guys updates.
Good, thank you, and hopefully that request will go through. Aiden, give us a legislative update.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, for the record, Aiden Fleming with the Arizona Department of Gaming. Much of what I was going to update you on was actually discussed under C3, but to that point, I believe there was a comment made about rulemaking. That bill does not give us an exemption to rulemaking, so the department would have to go and ask for a moratorium lift, similar to how it did on 1144 with the ejection from the racetrack bill, if you recall that. So we would have to go and expand our request. The 1144 letter was granted by the governor's office, so we are acting on writing those rules, and we're going to include stakeholders as we go through that process and keep the commission updated. However, if we seek rulemaking authority on 2547, that is a many months long process, and it would require us to request a lift of the rule moratorium.
Okay.
I'm happy to answer any questions on any of the bills, but that was the general gist.
Yeah, I have none. Anybody have any questions? Chuck or Tom?
No, sir. None, but.
Okay, thanks, Aiden. Committee reports. American Greyhound?
Good afternoon, Commissioners, Director, staff. Just had a quick question. We had submitted a permit application to Cary Caliente Signal and wondered if we could get an update on that or if there's anything we can do to help speed along the process.
Greg, can you help us with that?
This is an international signal which we're currently looking into, and we are pushing as much as we can to get it resolved.
Okay.
I would appreciate it. Yeah, anything we can do to help let us know, because we could greatly use the content.
Good, thanks. Thanks for asking. Arizona Downs.
Good afternoon, I think, not good morning anymore, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. As you know, our inaugural racing season concluded September 1st, and despite our significant drama surrounding our meet, we had quite a few positive outcomes, and I think they deserve to be highlighted. Our attendance was extremely strong, and the community supported our racing program from beginning to end, despite not having a middle. The Prescott Valley area is really hungry for a positive, family-friendly entertainment option, and I know they're really excited that we're there and can't wait for our second season next year. We are particularly proud that we raised the bar for both equine and human safety, and my hope is that that bar becomes a standard for other racetracks in the state. This was the first time that horsemen have been given an opportunity to stay in Arizona, and they continually thanked us for bringing year-round racing back in the last 10 years. I don't have a full 3 minutes to talk on this because I do have a question I'd like to respectfully ask, which is a repeat of Mr. Author's question earlier. In order for us to start preparing for next year's season, we have to start looking at our budgets, and our budgets are determined by simulcasting, and I'm just asking if you guys could, I don't recall when we came back from executive session and answered Mr. Author's question, and I was wondering if that might be coming in this meeting.
The department's reviewing the contracts that have been submitted, and they're going to give us a recommendation on completeness of the contracts, and then we'll make a ruling. So it's not coming this meeting, but sometime by the next meeting.
And again, please take this in the spirit intended, very respectfully. I appreciate the review of the contract issue. That is part of that particular law that we've been discussing, but also part of it is whether or not we can receive signals when other tracks are not, or other tracks can receive signals when we're not. And I think that was more of the question Mr. Author was asking, as opposed to actual contract reviews. Is there any...
And I'll jump in there too. Arizona Downs had the ability to turn that contract on months ago and decided that they would rather chase legislation, which you successfully got across the finish line. But even with the legislation, you had the opportunity, and to my knowledge, you still have the opportunity to work with Arizona, or to work with Monarch and anyone else to get that on. So I would highly encourage your administrative team to work with them to see if they can get that on sooner than later, and lean on the legislation that you got passed to get that done.
And I appreciate that response. We have reached out to Monarch several times expressing our interest in taking their content, and they have not responded to us. So we have no way of presenting a contract for approval when they are the sellers of the signal, and they're not giving us the opportunity to purchase that signal. And we have reached out to them several times. Believe me, the minute that law was passed.
I think that's the first time I've heard of it. I don't know if any of the other commissioners have, but the commission as a whole has spent countless hours trying to make that a priority, and each time it gets to that point, Arizona Downs decides that they would rather pursue other options. So all I'm saying is I think that we're doing all that we can to make sure that legally we're doing it the right way, and that you guys get the signal, and that it is a fair contract. So again, I would, the commission as a whole would be willing to make a request on your behalf if that's what you're asking. But I think that at some point you could have had that months ago.
But we did ask for Monarch's contracts and expressed our interest months ago to Monarch that we would like to receive that. They have to be willing to sell it to us, which I think is the purpose of our legislation. They have expressed an interest in not selling it to us, which is why we pursued legislation, passed legislation, and believe that there's a law in place that should be enforced. we can show you the documentation of when we started talking to Monarch or when we started requesting for Monarch their content after the law was passed, if that would be helpful for you.
It's helpful for me to see more, but I also have emails from you guys saying we would rather not take this initial one, even while you chased your legislation, to turn the contract on. And I'm sure that there's rationale as to why you decided to pass on that, but
I'm not
happy to have that discussion either on or offline.
I'm going to let Mr. Author continue answering that question. He'll have more information than I will.
Tom Author, Arizona Downs. Just very briefly, we sent an email through Cassie that was a reply to our many entreaties to Monarch to send us their signal, and the reply was, talk to our lawyers. We then received a email back from Mr. Claus, with Dickinson Wright, who is the law firm representing Monarch, saying, we're not going to send you the signal. We're in litigation, we're not going to send you the signal. So, and you guys, I believe, all have a copy of that email that Cassie dispersed. So we've tried, Commissioner, and they just simply won't send us the signal. So I don't know what else we can do.
Tom, the only thing what I was referencing was the months before the lawsuit had come out. So now that the lawsuit's out, I understand where you both are coming from on that. So.
Well, we've tried. That's why, frankly, that's why we had to enact the law. They refused to send us the signal. That's.
I think we're talking apples and oranges, Tom.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
This is Jerry Sims. Sign in. From Turf Paradise, wanted to respond to that last couple of speakers. About 10 days ago, we had a meeting with Tom Arthur. I was telephonic. Joe Jackson was there. Mike Barrow was there. Mayor Francia, Dave Johnson. We had a meeting about the very subject because I had spoken to Monarch. I didn't want us to have a meeting that had that wasn't going to be met well. And I called Monarch and said, if we can get this something worked out, would you do this? Now this is only 10 days ago. And he was fully willing to do it. It didn't seem like Arizona Downs, frankly, had the interest in talking about the deals that we had talked about before, that we'd gotten so close on in meetings. I'm still willing to do it, and so is Scott DeRudy. So I don't know why we can't still meet and try and put that deal that was suggested on the transfer agreements that we got very close to on different meetings, and it didn't go forward. But I'm still willing to make that deal, and I know Monarch is also. Thank you.
Tom Author, Arizona Downs. I'm sorry to continue this on. That's Mr. Sims' interpretation. The transfer agreement proposal was never something we ever seriously considered. We did agree at the request of Turf Paradise to go over and see if we can come to some sort of agreement. It resulted in largely a berating of me by Mr. Sims, and we didn't make any progress. And maybe it's our fault, maybe it's their fault, but the fact is, we've learned a long time ago that it's going to be very difficult for us to come to terms, short of a single network like used to be in existence in Arizona and like is in existence in every other market where there's multiple tracks. Short of that, it's going to be very difficult for us to come to an agreement. And I don't mean to be pessimistic. I just want to be realistic. And so that's my assessment of how that meeting went. Thank you.
Chuck or Tom, any other comments?
No, sir.
That's from me.
All right. Anybody here from the county fair? Jay? You have any report? Okay. Tucson Greyhound. Alicia, not here. Okay. Turf Paradise.
Mr. Commissioner, Vincent Francia, General Manager, Turf Paradise Race Course. Just a brief update. 2 days ago, the horses arrived. They began to arrive. I was out there early this morning. Training has already started. I think we're up to around 300 horses. We're expecting considerably more, with a rush of horses, I think, coming this weekend following Canterbury completing their meet. Let me touch on a couple of things that Mr. Stiles did, which will be helpful. The L row, where the roofs were, the state had concern, we had concern, those pens are not barns. Those pens are gone. We've removed them. In the process of examining that area, I noticed one other pen in a different area that has been removed. The bridle path is in. Now, the original bridle path was designed to go on the north side of the L barns with 3 lateral cutaways to extend to the K row, so the horses could go from K through the laterals to the bridle path and to the racetrack, to the 5 furlong chute. And that's done. That's I imagine they're using that today. That should take traffic and wear and tear off the K row because it's a very high area. Where we wanted it to extend was heading north, and it was just an instance of where the general manager's optimism got a little ahead of the topography, and we weren't able to do what we wished, and that is to extend the bridle path from there all the way up to the chute where which the horses take to go into the paddock. And that is because as we come to the O barns, there's about a 40-yard stretch there, and due to the voice racks where they are placed and several other things that the trainers have positioned there, like hot walkers, that became problematic for that 40-yard stretch. However, the bridle path will pick up right beyond that. It goes down to the bottom of the track and then heads up the chute. 2 things quickly. One is the company that certifies all of our fire and fire alarms and fire extinguishers has been out. That work is done, both on the backside and in the facility. And with that in mind, I certainly welcome the department and the commissioners, because we open October the 12th, to come out beforehand and go over everything that they wish to see that the work has been done.
Thanks, Vince.
Yep.
Okay, item 5, optional industry stakeholder association updates. Arizona Counties Racing Association. Arizona Quarter Horse Association.
Yes, sir. I'll sign it when I get through. I know it's been a lengthy meeting, so I won't take a lot of time. Identify yourself. My name's Loretta Brazier, and I'm the executive director of the Arizona Quarter Racing. I just wanted to tell you that, like Ann might have mentioned a while ago, it was an interesting summer, but it was a great summer. It was a great summer for the quarter horses and for the horses in Arizona that got a chance to stay home. And so I want to applaud Arizona Downs for what they did for us. It was great. We did have ups and downs, but you have that anywhere. Now we're geared up for Turf Paradise opening weekend, and the quarter horses will be running. We have lots of nice stakes races and lots of nice futurities and derbies, and we'd like to see you guys come out and cheer us on. Thank you.
Do that. Thanks, Loretta. Arizona Thoroughbred Breeders Association.
Nothing to report.
HBPA.
Good morning, Commissioners, Director. Lloyd Yotha with the HBPA. I was tardy getting here this morning, so I don't know how much I missed of the Monarch issue, but if there's any way of a short answer, which I doubt, why is we have a law that was passed on August 27th and it's not being enforced? Was there a what's the word I'm looking for? A stay on the law or something? Or why are we not enforcing the law that Monarch has to provide the signals to all or none?
Short answer is we're working on it.
You're working?
Now, the department's going over all the contracts. They just received them. They haven't had a chance to review them all to make sure they're complete. Once they do that, they'll make a recommendation to the commission and we'll enforce the law.
Okay, I'm sure everybody's aware, and you've heard my spiel before. I mean, this is detrimental to racing, and we need some action as soon as possible. And if you're working on it, I can accept that. Go forward. The next thing is I do have a question. I've been traveling quite a bit this summer. Haven't spent any time. I was on the track yesterday, unloading horses. I didn't get a chance to look around. It was early when I got there and late when I got back and unloaded the horses and whatnot. But the bridle path issue is, we've had dirt to walk on the bridle paths before, but my understanding was that it would either be sand or bark chips or rubber chips, and rubber chips would be my preference. But is that going to be accomplished, or is it just going to be dirt? And then I have one other issue is, I think I understand Vince saying that there's 40 feet that there's a hot walker in the way. I mean, the horse's safety is the utmost importance to all of us, I'd hope. And then if we have to move to gain the 40 feet for the bridle path, I'm not sure if that was correct or not, but if it's 40 feet that we've got to walk on rocks and crap to get to the track, that's not acceptable as far as I'm concerned.
Well, let's let Vince answer that, because
It's 40 yards, not 40 feet. And it's,
4 or 40, but I understand.
okay. And it's an area which the horses have heretofore, they walk on the asphalt, so it's not as though they are now being forced to walk on a surface that is possibly injurious to them. That's not the point. We looked at the sand on the bridle path, and that would be the one on the north side of L. And it was brought to our attention that if you put sand down, you've just blocked the ability of the trainers to ride on it with their golf carts. That's something I haven't considered. So what we're going to do is every morning and every meeting, every evening, there will be harrowed after, before the race day and after the race day.
Okay, we can discuss that in a meeting with management, but my thoughts are sand is the last resort that I'd like to see it. I'd like to see bark chips or rubber chips, I think would be more ideal, and there should be maybe penalties if we catch people destroying the bridle path. But anyway, that'll be handled through another meeting with management.
hopefully, yeah, you guys can work that out to your satisfaction.
Hopefully we can.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can. I mean, we're trying, but this arbitration meeting's coming up, shed a lot of light on things, and hopefully we can get to where people are at least communicating with each other. So I thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Lloyd. Jockeys Guild. All right. Item E, commission reports, summary of current events affecting the Arizona Racing Commission. Only commission members or the director may report. No discussion or action may be taken on matters reported unless properly noticed for legal action or discussion. But we've got some items that we're working on, and we look forward to hearing that. And are there any matters that need to be placed on future agendas? I guess
None by me.
Okay. And the last item's a call to the public, and I think we've heard from everyone who's signed up. The next regular Arizona Racing Commission meeting is tentatively scheduled for 10 a.m. on Thursday, October the 10th. 1110 West Washington Street in this conference room, this building. Subject to change based on a quorum. Current information about the Arizona Racing Commission. Meeting schedule, please visit the Arizona Department of Gaming Racing Division website or call Cassie Goodwin. And I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Coolidge. Thank you. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Okay, this meeting is adjourned at 12:06 PM.